I think we've all been to that place when your drive disappears. So, this is about navigating those seasons of low motivation. So, let's be honest. This is another episode of the Girls Cafe where we create a caring atmosphere for emotions. So, today's episode is for those moments when motivation is low or you feel like you've lost your spark. We're not always going to feel inspired. We're not always going to feel driven. And that doesn't mean we're lazy or broken. It means what? We're human. Because I can tell you about those times where I lack motivation and what it really feels like. Like some days you wake up full of ideas and still can't bring yourself to move. That was me today. It's like your mind is busy, but your body won't follow. The vision is there, but the energy to bring it to life, it just isn't. You look at your to do list and feel instantly tired, not because you're lazy, but because you're worn. Because life has been what? Lifing. And you're trying to be everything, everywhere, all the time. And then there's the guilt for resting, guilt for not posting, guilt for not showing up. It becomes a cycle where the pressure to do more actually makes you do less. Because, baby, I have been exhausted and tired every single day between menopause and waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to sleep throughout the night. I literally have no energy at all. But when you love what you do, whether it's creating or building or helping, it's even harder because when the joy is missing from the thing that once brought you peace, it makes you question everything. You start to think, is this even my purpose anymore? Am I burnt out? Because I burn myself out very fast. Did I lose it? And the truth is, you didn't lose it. It's just buried under exhaustion and responsibility and the weight of trying to be okay all the time. So here's that affirmation. Even when I don't feel motivated, I am still worthy of rest and grace. And I give myself permission to pause without shame. So let's talk about the root of the slump. And since it's the Girls Cafe, let me show you a sister cook today, okay? We got some baked fish and some potatoes and some broccoli. So guess what? We're going to eat a little bit while we do this, okay? Potatoes actually kind of good. Emotional exhaustion or burnout. There's like this disconnection from your why, or you're feeling overwhelmed by expectations. How about comparing your pace to others? Have you been there, done that? Or it's the internal pressure to always be doing. You got to always be doing something. Because if you don't, you feel like you're doing nothing. Most of the time, lack of motivation doesn't come from laziness. It actually comes from being exhausted. Not just physical, but emotional, mental, even spiritual. Sometimes I ask myself what's really draining me. Is it never ending demands, the pressure to always show up for others, the feeling that there's no space to simply be? Let me give you that affirmation. My value is not measured by my productivity. I am allowed to pause without punishing myself, and it's okay to lose your rhythm. What matters is that you come back when you're ready. So let's talk about what helped me reignite my spark. I wish I could always say that I woke up one day with energy and everything clicked again, but that's not how it actually happened. It came in quiet moments, small choices, gentle reminders. I give myself permission to pause. And instead of fighting the feeling, I allow myself to rest. I have days where I have to do nothing but rest. Some days I cry. Some days I just want to be still. I had to remind myself that pausing wasn't quitting, it's refueling because you got to give yourself energy or you got nothing. I stopped waiting to feel ready. There were so many things that I wanted to do. And I tell you guys this all the time, but I kept waiting for the motivation to show up first. Eventually, I realized I had to meet the moment with what I had: tired, unsure, imperfect. Sometimes the spark returns only after you take the first shaky step. I also took the pressure off of every task, because every task doesn't have to be a masterpiece and every post doesn't have to be perfect. And when I let go of pressure, I found pockets of peace. I told you guys, I'm going to stumble through these little podcasts and eventually I'm going to get it right. Eventually it's going to get good to somebody. I remember my why. I thought about the people I wanted to help, the messages I wanted to share. I thought about the version of me that used to dream, and I decided to show up for her, nobody else. Kind of almost reminds me of when I dropped that EP that I put out. I did that for myself. That was like a part of my own bucket list. I didn't care if anybody bought it. I didn't care how it sounded to anybody. I didn't care if anybody was interested in it. I actually was doing it for me. I just wanted to show up for me for a change. There are actually some weeks I don't even know what I want to talk about on this podcast. I'll sit down and my mind is completely blank, not because I don't care, but because I'm overwhelmed between working a full-time job, running a side hustle, and trying to build this podcast. Motivation doesn't always come easy, but grace has helped me keep going. It's not just about giving grace to other people. Sometimes you got to give grace to yourself. Even small progress is still progress. My purpose is still calling me, even when my energy isn't, even when my plate is full. I trust that I can still move forward one step at a time. So when I move with grace instead of pressure, I find peace in the process. Do you hear me? So if you're listening to this and you've been feeling stuck, unmotivated, or disconnected from your passion, I want you to know you're not broken. You're just tired, and tired doesn't mean it's over. Your energy might be low, might need some vitamins, might need some rest, but your creativity might feel like it's hiding. But none of that erases the value of what you carry. You're still called, still capable, still chosen. You don't have to leap back into it. You don't have to do everything today, because that's what I try to do every single day, everything. But I want you to take one small step, just one, and then tomorrow, another. And if you're in a season where even small steps feel hard, rest, breathe, refocus, and remind yourself that this is a season, not a sentence. So let me give you some encouragement. Your purpose didn't go anywhere. It's patiently waiting for you to come back to it. Your gift is still good, even if you've been away from it. You don't have to feel 100% to show up. You just have to be willing to begin again. The world still needs what you have, even if you're delivering it softly right now. I trust that my passion will return. And until then, I'll keep showing up with what I have and eating some good food. You know what I'm saying? So if you have been feeling unmotivated lately, I want you to know this. You are not alone. You're not lazy. You're not failing. You're just in a moment. And moments pass, seasons shift. And when they do, you'll find yourself again. Not the same, but deeper, wiser, better, and even more intentional. This isn't where your story ends. This is just a pause, not a permanent place. And even if you can't see the full picture yet, I promise your gift still matters. You still matter. And everything you've been through will serve a purpose. So here's a moment of reflection. What's one small thing I can do this week to honor my purpose, even if it's just for 5 minutes? What's one thing I need to release in order to move again? So, to a recap to those affirmations that I've given, because I probably went through them a little bit too fast. Even when I don't feel motivated, I'm still worthy of rest and what? Grace. My value is not measured by my productivity. Even small progress is still progress. My purpose is still calling me, even when my energy isn't. And even when my plate is full, I trust that I can still move forward, eat it a little bit at a time, and take one step at a time. I trust that my passion will return. And until then, I'll keep showing up with what I have. So take your time, take your next breath, take your next bite, and take your next step when you're ready. Because grace will always carry you where pressure cannot. And don't forget, pressure makes diamonds. So until next time, peace and one love. Let me get to eating.